Hi everyone, my name is Nancy and welcome to this week's episode of the Bible in 52 weeks, where we explore Numbers, the fourth book of the Hebrew Bible, also known as the Torah and Pentateuch, written by Moses. Numbers follows Moses' and Israel's journey from the foot of Mount Sinai, which is where Leviticus ends, to the edge of the promised land of Canaan. Now, if this were a regular road trip during those times, the journey would have probably only taken about 2 weeks. So why did it take so long? 40 years to be precise. When the people get about halfway there, Moses sends a few spies into the land to scout it out for the upcoming invasion. Most of the spies actually come back in a panic, claiming that the Canaanites are way too powerful for Israel to overcome. This leads to a revolt, uprising. Everybody starts doing too much, with the people now rebelling and refusing to take their land. So God gives them their wish and decrees that the rebellious generation will die in the wilderness and their children will take the land. Don't want to do it? God said, that's fine, I'll give it to your kids. The important characters in Numbers are God, Moses, Aaron, Eleazar, Balaam, and Joshua. So what are the key themes in Numbers? The book's main focus is Israel's repeated rebellion and God's mercy and discipline on his people. If we had to choose one verse to summarize the key themes in the book, it would be Numbers chapter 14 verse 11. The Lord said to Moses, "How long will these people spurn me? And how long will they not believe in me, despite all the signs which I performed in their midst?" The first theme is human rebellion. The Israelites rebel against God and Moses several times in the book of Numbers. They complain about the food and water and their enemies. Not a day passes where these people aren't moaning. They even complain about Moses himself, the man who's meant to be leading you to the promised land, and you're making noise. The second theme is divine punishment. When the people complain, God hears them, and it doesn't go down too well. God eventually kills the rebellious Israelites with fire, plague, and snakes. Dramatic much, but I get it, they were doing a lot. The third theme, however, is divine provision. Although God's people are rebellious, God extends mercy to them. He continues to provide manna, a mysterious bread from heaven, and even prevents the pagan prophet Balaam from cursing the people. The fourth theme is more laws. This is the Torah after all. Although Numbers doesn't have the big, bulky sets of laws that we see in the previous books, Exodus, Leviticus, and also Deuteronomy, there are still plenty of rules here. The fifth theme is Moses' leadership. Moses deals with the pressures of leading a new nation. He feels like an unappreciated nanny, forced to carry 600,000 quarreling, troublesome toddlers across the wilderness. Moses basically tells God early in the book, "I cannot come and kill myself. Please, the burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me." This is in Numbers chapter 11 verses 14 to 15. Time and time again, God makes it clear to the people that Moses is his chosen prophet and Aaron is his chosen priest. I'm sure we all know how it feels to be told that this is the leader of your nation and you have to deal with it. The sixth theme is God's covenant with Abraham. The name Abraham only appears once in the book of Numbers, but if you look closely, you'll see that God is at work fulfilling his promises to Abraham throughout the book of Numbers. Now here's a tip. As you read and study the book of Numbers, you need to keep an eye on what it says about the land, what happens when someone tries to curse God's people, and any hints of a king coming from Israel. Now, let's consider the book's overview and structure. In Act 1, God's people prepare to leave Sinai. This is found in Numbers chapters 1 to 10, verses 10. The book opens with Moses taking a census of the people in Israel. That's why the book is called Numbers. Moses gives the nation orders for how the 12 tribes to position themselves as they camp and move throughout the wilderness, with the tabernacle being at the center of the camp. The journey from Sinai to Paran, which is found in Numbers chapters 10 verses 11 to chapters 12 verses 16, isn't very pleasant. The people complain about God and Moses. Moses' brother Aaron and sister Miriam speak out against him, and Miriam is temporarily afflicted with leprosy. The situation is dire. In Act 2, Israel rejects the land, and this is found in Numbers chapters 13 to 19. When the Israelites get about halfway to Canaan, Moses sends 12 spies into the land to scope it out. 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, tell the people that the land is good and God will give it to them. The other 10, however, have no confidence that they can take the land, so the people turn on Moses. They refuse to take the land God grants them the request. That generation of naysayers die in the wilderness, and their children inherit the land. On the journey from Paran to Moab, which is in Numbers chapters 20 to 21, Moses disobeys God in front of the people, and he is too prohibited from entering the promised land. Then Aaron dies, and his son takes his place. Eventually, they end up just across the Jordan River from Canaan, in the plains of Moab. In Acts 3, Israel settles across from Canaan. This is found in Numbers chapters 22 to 36. Having defeated some armies, a few Israelite tribes begin settling on the east side of Jordan permanently. Understandably, surrounding nations are freaked. Like, who are these people? They hire a pagan prophet named Balaam to curse Israel, which doesn't work out. Shout-outs to God. Then Balaam gets a different nation to sending their daughters to seduce the Israelites into idolatry, which ends in Balaam's death and plague for Israel. Sometimes just mind your business. The book closes with yet another census, and Joshua names Moses' successor. In conclusion, the whole nation is ready to enter the promised land. But first, Moses has a very important message for them. If you want to find out more, stay tuned for the next episode of the Bible in 52 weeks as we look at the book of Deuteronomy. That's all from me. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.